Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you're watching my 100% walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for Nintendo Wii. In the last video, we completed the Faron Silent Realm and got the Water Dragon Scale, and the next thing you need to do is just dive down into that body of water right in the middle of Faron Woods, and this leads to an entrance at the base of the Great Tree where you can enter near the roots. Swimming in this game is pretty easy. You just hold the A button and then just tilt the Wiimote around to direct where you want to swim. It's not too bad. If you are running low on air, though, you want to grab one of the bubbles along the way, and they do just reappear in the same spots. There's these little, like, air geyser things, these vents, and so you just hang out near a vent and wait for another bubble to appear if you're running low. Once you get to the center of the tree, you'll see this short cinematic showcasing the middle of it, and you want to just go over to these vines and climb it, and if you like, you can actually dash under the water, or go into the water a little bit, then dash out by shaking the nunchuck to do a little spinning move there, and this will hopefully get you a little bit of height. It didn't quite work out for me there. Usually you can get really high and you can skip most of the climbing is why I was doing that. Next, we want to kill all the Frok in the room, and you can do this using the beetle. I've never actually tried using the slingshot on Frok before. I guess maybe that's a possibility, but anyways, maybe that would be something you could do too. Regardless, I'm using the beetle, and if you have the quick beetle, you can actually press A to fly a little bit faster too, and that's kind of nice. So anyways, fly over to all the Frok and break them all by smacking into them. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to blow up some of the ones near the next platform, so you can kill the Bokoblin there too before you ever get over there. If you're having difficulty flying, it's probably because your controller's uncalibrated, so just do some sword slashes to fix that, and then continue blowing them all up. So once they've all been defeated, you want to jump on the first platform, and next we want to use the gust bellows to make this platform swing. Now if you actually blow at the next platform, it'll make that one swing too. So rather than pointing the gust bellows at that, I would recommend that you actually point away from that platform so you don't accidentally do that. Anyways, use the gust bellows to make the platform swing back and forth. This allows you to jump to the next platform, make that one swing as well so you can reach the next area. Now before you exit out the door, you can actually look up and see that there is actually a hidden area, and you can kind of follow it backwards and figure out how to get there, kind of. We don't actually have access to that just yet, but just keep that in mind because there is a chest on that upper platform that you can see from down here. We want to go get that. As soon as you exit, you'll see that there's actually a goddess cube on the nearby platform, and you can go get it right now, but I recommend you actually wait, and that'll make sense here in a little bit. It's much more convenient to do it here in just a moment, so we're going to actually complete the Great Tree first, and then we're going to get all the goodies all around it. This next area that I'm looking around, I thought there was another goddess cube nearby, but there isn't. However, another comment is there is a piece of heart directly below us, and you can't see it from here, but I did get that on a previous video, so that's already collected. It's actually, I think it was even the first piece of heart that I got in this walkthrough. So if you haven't gotten that yet, you might want to think about that, or at least mark your map for now. Now, continuing onwards, I recommend you kill the Waltulas using the slingshot in this way, or you can use the beetle, honestly. But then start climbing the vines and work your way to the far left. Up ahead, there is a beehive, and you want to shoot it because otherwise if you try climbing over there, it will attack you. So you want to shoot it, but then make sure that it lands far enough away from you that the bees don't come after you. So I ran away, and in the process, I jumped off the tree, and I didn't even land on a platform that I want to land on later, which will make sense later in the video. So anyways, this was just a huge waste of time. So I'm going to actually go all the way back through the base of the Great Tree to get back to where I was. So I'm just going to fast forward through all this. Super unfortunate. Don't do what I did. Whenever you see a bunch of birds together, especially if it's in like a nice convenient place, just go ahead and swipe them with the bug catching net. In particular, the bluebirds. Bluebirds are more rare, so that's why I say that. You need 5 regular bird feathers and you need 5 bluebird feathers. So I think in this particular recording I only have like 2 or 3 bluebird feathers at this point, so I need a couple more. So you don't have to get all of them, but just as long as you get that many before the end of the game, that way you'll be able to get all of the upgrades. Now this is what I should have done the first time, is I realized after I climbed up there that last time, I was like, I think that the beehive is somewhere around here. So I shot it, ran away so the bees didn't attack me, and then collected the hornet larva. And that larva, you want 4 of them total for all of the upgrades in the game. Oh no, see, I didn't realize the bees still came after me somehow. But if that does happen, just use the bug catching net, and this will allow you to take care of them that way. Alright, climbing take 2. So I recommend, honestly, for the Great Tree, just be really slow and careful. I think the beehive is actually one of the more awkward places of this, but just take it slow. Try not to run, I guess, would be my advice, or something that I learned from this particular playthrough. These Waltulas, you actually can make it through here without killing them at all. It's just very difficult. If they do latch onto you, you run out of stamina very quickly and you might just fall down. And if they grab you in the wrong place, oh no. Like I was saying, be really, really careful. Here I was trying to get the goodies inside that squash and it didn't work out so well. Okay, like I was saying, you can dash through here, but you can run out of stamina very quickly if the Waltulas are grabbing onto you. So I do recommend killing them first, and you can either go on the left or you can go on the right side. Now I think you can also, like, quickly run through here, And then there's the beehive right here. You can quickly dash over, and then you can start using the bug catching net to catch them all, or just run in here immediately. So it is possible to get through here without dealing with the bugs. However, they can hurt you. I'm actually not sure off the top of my head if they smack you, if you take damage, if it will actually like knock you off the vines. Up ahead, we have a new enemy here. This is called a moblin, and there's actually a bunch of different ways to deal with them. However, my one big piece of advice for this battle is just this. Don't fall down. And because of that, I recommend you actually stun them and fight them in place. You can kill them in a variety of different ways, actually, but this is the safest way, in my opinion, to stay on the platform. It's just stun them from afar by hitting them in the head with the slingshot. Probably the next best alternative is to actually just wait until it's facing you and then just dash at it. This will allow you to jump over its shield and get to the other side of it, and you can just avoid this battle entirely. However, that is a little bit risky because if they tend to turn like at the last second as you're running up to them. So if you get it where it's turning like a little bit left or a little bit right, you could jump off the platform, and that's kind of risky. So that's why I recommend using the slingshot method instead. So once we get back outside, you'll find a bird statue. So be sure to talk to this thing. You can save if you want to, but in particular, the thing that's really important about this is just the fact that you are activating it in the first place. This is really cool because you don't necessarily have to climb the great tree. You can actually just use the other bird statues nearby to warp up to this point. Up ahead we have some bokoblins, and this first one is actually a blue bokoblin that has a monster horn that will summon more bokoblins nearby, and I think you can even actually just like inch around the corner and smack it with the slingshot to stun it, and then that way you don't have a bunch of bokoblins to deal with. Here I totally side jump and almost fell off the ledge, which is horrible. I keep talking about this advanced tactic, and I actually do it here, is you jump forward with Z and A, and then swing your Wiimote to perform a jump attack, and you can do that in place. You don't have to do a running jump attack, you can actually, or dashing, whatever, you can totally do it in place with Z and A as well. This is particularly useful if you hold down, or like tilt the Wiimote down first so that the bokoblins are protecting from the wrong direction. As long as they're defending from a direction that doesn't matter, then you can attack them from above using, like, the jump attack always attacks from above, is what I mean by that. So if you hold your sword low, they'll defend low, and then you attack high using the jump attack. There is actually one more goodie you can see from here. If you look down, you'll notice that there is actually a goddess cube on a platform over here as well. That's a little bit closer. Unfortunately, we can't reach it using that other platform, but it's kind of like over here, like, I think I actually put that beacon a little bit too far, but it's kind of in the trees actually, but this is the platform where you can reach it from. We're going to collect all that stuff here in a little bit. First, we're going to finish up all the stuff we need to do here on the Great Tree. Now, as you round this next corner, then Phi will have a message for you, so down on the D-pad starts flashing. So you can press it if you want to, and she just says that there's a sound nearby. So you can actually hear it if you turn up the volume for sure, but it sounds like a little bit weird. But as you get up to this next platform, it'll show a short cinematic that showcases where the sound is coming from. Alright, so we need to speak with the Kikwi Hermit. Unfortunately, it is asleep, so you want to use either the slingshot or the beetle to attack it, and once you smack it, this will wake it up. Alright, at this point we're going to collect all of those goddess cubes, and as well as a chest inside the Great Tree. So we're going to get 4 different goodies, and then I'm going to continue on with the main quest. So you can skip ahead in the video if you just want to continue on with the main quest, otherwise you can hang out with me. So, first of all, come over here and drop down off this ledge, and you'll see that there's actually, that goddess cube is like underneath the next ledge. We can't actually get to it, but what you can do is drop down here, and on this platform you can reach it using this tightrope. Now, I would recommend that you recalibrate your controller, because if you go across this tightrope without your controller calibrated, it can be very difficult. This particular goddess cube leads to a chest inside Thunderhead, and it has a rupee medal, which makes rupees appear more often when you have it in your inventory. So to get back into the Great Tree, you can either go back through the base of the tree and then climb up again, although I think that takes a lot longer. I think it's significantly easier to just use a bird statue. And as long as we're heading over there, I do like to just keep killing the bokoblins over here, because I just along the way, because I have a high chance of getting these ornamental skulls. So I'm just collecting those as I progress. And actually, as long as I was heading to the viewing platform too, I should have checked out to the side. There's usually an amber relic there too. But yeah, here's a cool trick to get back up there, is you can just use the bird statues. You just fly to the sky and then warp back down to a bird statue. There's only a couple times in the game where this is super useful within the same area, and I think this is definitely one of the best places to use it. So if you warp back to Faron and then go into the Great Tree bird statue that we unlocked, then this will allow you to get back up there very easily. One of the nice things about this too is it does lead right to that like upper entrance to the Great Tree too, which is also where one of our treasures is as well. This next goddess cube is pretty easy. It's one of the first ones that we saw, actually, but you can just hop down all these little ledges. It's pretty easy to get to it. I kind of wish that they had some kind of, like, vines or something you could have smacked that made it, like, lowered a vine, a rope that you could then climb to get up here, rather than having to ascend the Great Tree the long way. I don't know, it just feels a little excessive to me. This particular goddess cube leads to a chest up in Skyloft that's pretty easy to reach and has 100 rupees in it. So again, as long as we're in the area, I'm hunting bokoblins. I think I actually, if I remember correctly, I think I needed a few more ornamental skulls for some of the upgrades I was planning on doing. I actually got a golden skull from one of these guys, and I didn't actually need that, I think. I think I actually have all the golden skulls I need. I keep happening to find them in chests for this playthrough. So another way to reach this goddess cube I just ran to a little bit ago is you can actually go back through the tree and then pop up on the other side, and then you can look down. This is just from another perspective. It's actually like not rotating around the tree that much, but this is another way you can reach that particular goddess cube. I actually think it's almost easier to reach it from the other port right next to that bird statue, actually, but just pointing out that this is where that beacon is. You can see it's over here to the left. But yeah, I think from this direction it's a little bit easier to fall off the Great Tree, so just be careful if you come from this direction. But that's one way you can do that. Now, there is actually a treasure inside the Great Tree that I mentioned briefly earlier. So to get that, how you do that is you fall down right here, and to do so, I actually recommend you dip off the edge by standing really close and pressing A. And then once you're kind of lined up, you can actually just look at your shadow. Once your shadow is lined up, you can drop, and there is a quadra-bob up ahead. Now, you can deal with this a couple different ways. You can actually use, Skyward Strikes to attack it from a distance. You got to use the correct direction. You can stun it with the slingshot to let you jump over, and then you can attack it. Or you can actually cut its vine using the beetle. Here I was a little bit too close. I couldn't line it up just right, so I backed up a little bit to make it a little bit easier. People always think of using the beetle when quadra-bobbas and stuff are hanging from the ceiling, but you can totally use it when they're upright as well. This chest leads to a gold rupee, which is worth 300, so just make sure you have enough room in your wallet to carry that. You should have a pretty good capacity if you've been following along with me in this walkthrough so far. Now, you can go backwards along all these paths. There's like some keys and stuff along the way, so they'll attack you and stuff, but they don't really matter too much. Like, I think the main reason for those other platforms is actually so you have more places you could possibly jump down to from up above, is the reasoning for that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. As long as we get there, that's all that really matters. I think the way I just showed is the easiest way. It's both fast as well as reliable. Anyways, point is, you can walk backwards and follow that path to try and figure out where it leads, but it doesn't really matter. Instead, just go out of the Great Tree and go back to a bird statue would be the easiest way. Or you can try climbing, either way. We're already in the Great Tree anyways. So the last goddess cube is just to the left of the bird statue here on the Great Tree, and there's actually a couple different ways to get it. We actually can return here later once we have a different item, although it's totally doable right now. I'm not really sure why they decided to have the targets on this particular platform, but another way you can do this is something I like to do. You can drop down off the edge by holding A, just like we did for some of these other platforms. However, another trick for this is you can use beacons to create a line. I just think this is kind of neat, is if you line them up, as long as you are lined up with the 2 beacons you placed, then you know you're perfectly straight on. So just Z-target until you're facing towards it, then jump in that direction, and you're good to go. This particular goddess cube leads to a chest that is up in the sky on a little island off to the far left that has a little volcano on it, so I like to call it Volcano Island. Anyways, inside the volcano is a chest containing a piece of heart. Awesome, so if you've been following along with me so far, that means that we have collected a total of 15 goddess cubes, and that's all the goodies we were trying to get here for now, so we're ready to continue on with the main quest. So in order to proceed, the hermit told us that we needed to go find somewhere that looked sort of similar, had a similar symbol to what was on the door to the far south, and he said that, I think Fi even said that there were some similar ruins to the far north. So, you want to head over to the viewing platform optional. You don't actually even have to do this. As long as you know the solution, you don't have to go here. But head over to the viewing platform if you want to get a clue about how to proceed. So once you get close here, you'll see there's a symbol on the ground, and Fi's little button will start flashing on the side of your screen. So if you talk with her, she'll say that she's pretty sure that this symbol is the one that we need. This is actually the symbol of courage, which is Faron's symbol. And yeah, this has been seen in a lot of different Zelda games, and it's just kind of cool because we've been walking past this like throughout the game, and now we finally are needing it for something else. Skyward Sword actually has quite a bit of unique architecture that's really interesting, or like it's spoilery. I don't want to say, I don't want to spoil it, but it's big reveals in the architecture if you know what to look for. So it's interesting to replay the game because if you know that there's little details like that there, then you knew that you were like actually walking past important landmarks that whole time. Alright, so next head to the far south, break through the bamboo wall here, and then there is a door here that has Faron's courage symbol on it. However, it is slightly incomplete. And if you had any like suspicion about what the symbol was, you could have totally figured it out, especially if you played other Zelda games and are familiar with the symbol. You would know that there is another circle off to the far left. So I've always just use the Skyward Strikes, you can draw on it just like we do with the Goddess Walls, and I've always just filled it all in, but I suppose you probably don't have to. You could probably just do a circle. Once you've done this successfully, this will open the door, and that leads on to the next area. So thank you guys for joining me, heading out for the next video where I will tackle Lake Floria. I want to be high so that I'm close enough for my little magnesis or whatever to go out. Or stasis. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't fast enough. Actually, I can just... In fact, what am I doing? Poof. Yeah, I was thinking I needed to get the block underneath it, so it'd be like... Block, block, block. No, stop it. That was an ancient arrow, wasn't it? Yep. Cool. Set down my controller, and it hit my right control stick. Sweet. Slow clap. See, this is, yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to do. Thank you, Corbin.